Hello, Cancer. Welcome to January 2019. Whoa, should be interesting. Should be an interesting month for you. You know, you have relationship stuff highlighted, having stuff happen in the seventh house. So if you're here on YouTube watching tarot card readings for relationship stuff, you know, I think that you're going to have a lot of that going on over the course of the next year. And it doesn't have to be romantic relationships. It can also be business partnerships, friendships, that kind of thing, more like one-on-one kind of stuff. And your sense of self is going to be challenged a lot over the next year and a half as well. More than it already has been with all the Capricorn. Can we just blame it on Capricorn, right? Let's just throw everything to your opposite sign, right? It's been a doozy. But like seriously, you know, it's so critical for your path and it's so critical for your journey, and all the things that may have seemed like a failure, I think within the next year and a half are really going to seem like some of the greatest blessings that you've ever encountered in your lifetime thus far. So let's talk about the cards that just came out, okay? Because the first card that came out was the Six of Swords, which is the card of the spiritual evolution and the spiritual journey. And in a way, like the minute this came out, even though I was talking, I was like, that's your build up to this eclipse energy. That's your build up to the intensity of, you know, releasing stuff. And I do feel that whatever it is that you've kept inside, and I see this for Gemini too, and because you're like side by side signs, you know, there's similarities there. It's like this build up to a major purge, where it is so essential that you get rid of anything once and for all that has been holding you back, because you need the space for your evolution. So I'm even getting chills right now just even talking about that, because I know how magnificent it will be. And I will use the word magnificent because that's the only word that I can even think of that's going to do it even that much justice, right? The path and the journey that you've gone on is, I mean, you should be proud of that stuff, and you should be proud of where you're going. It's all about creating stillness in life. It's all about leaving the turbulence behind and not being ruled by emotions, not being ruled by our thoughts and our egos, and really coming in contact with that true essence of self, which can be really challenging when you're in that first house, seventh house axis, and there's all this energy on your relationships. Some of you actually may get into really beautiful, solid marriages within the next couple years, and some of you may dissolve marriages in the next couple years because you're stepping into that standard. Okay? Now, King of Cups came out reverse, and immediately I thought that this is twofold. It's you and the energy of another person. It's important that you understand that every single sign is experiencing this eclipse in a completely different kind of way. And I've been saying that to every sign, almost every sign, but it's critical because some people are like, wow, everything is amazing. And they're just going, and they find this power, this inner drive. Maybe they just have a lot of moving pieces in their life. And there are other people that are just going to get dunked down to the depths of the ocean. And they're going to be drowning, and they're going to be sorrowful and all this. So it's, you know, who you're dealing with. You're going to see a great variety of different energy levels and a great variety of mental states. And it's interesting how when that happens, we can compare it against our own. And I think that's what the seventh and first house is really good at doing, is the comparison of us versus them, and where we stand, and what can I learn from that other person, and how is this person mirroring my own stuff back to me, and vice versa. And so if you're feeling like you're drowning, especially if you're born in the, you know, the later degrees, or you have your sun or moon in the later degrees of Cancer, you will be feeling the later degrees of the eclipse, you know, later degrees of Capricorn eclipses. We have the full moon coming in tomorrow. I know that a lot of people will be watching this in January. That won't apply. But I mean, that Cancerian energy is really intense for all of us. So, King of Cups, reversed, can be someone who is drowning, can be someone who is looking for a vice as well. because they can't handle the purge, because the pain can be really strong, and it can be like so, like draw so much focus because maybe they've never really dealt with it before. Sometimes a King of Cups cannot control, and they can be really mean, right? This is actually the Scorpio archetype coming out. So when we think of oh my gosh, please, Scorpio, intensity, depth, darkness, all this kind of like fear and pain and all, this is someone who really walks the line of that all the time. And you may be tapping into that because of what's going to be drawn up from your subconscious, what's going to be drawn up from your childhood, what's going to be drawn up from all your past relationships, right? It's so critical that you don't repress that stuff, because I am seeing a quality of overindulgence here. And again, it can be someone that it doesn't necessarily have to be you. And I want to make that clear because I know that people on my channel specifically, tend to be more advanced spiritually, and they're people who are really wanting and really willing to do the work. And the work is exactly what it is. And it's working on yourself, it's managing yourself, it's learning how to reach your potential and all of that. So it could be someone else that you see that is overindulging, that is, passing things through the rumor mill and, the grapevine and trying to spread rumors, or trying to just like completely forget their problems and just go and, and that can be frustrating, especially if this is actually a significant other of yours. It's the denial. It's the absolute and sheer repression of the whole thing. When in fact, this could be one of the most healthy processes that this person goes through. If it's you, the only thing I ask is to just make sure that you're living a healthy lifestyle, okay? Surrounding yourself with really positive, motivated, and inspirational people. If you don't have a lot of those people in your life, freaking put on a Tony Robbins something, or a Jay Shetty, or Lewis Howes, or Oprah, or any of these incredibly inspirational people. Like, put them on YouTube nonstop. Put them in your earphones when you're or like when you're working out, or in your car when you're driving. Like, surround yourself, because you need to think of that kind of stuff as your diet as well. All right, and consuming healthy things, consuming healthy food. It's holidays, there's a lot of drinking, and, it's hard too with this holiday season because Mars coming conjunct Chiron in Pisces can really pull us under too. It's not just the eclipses. Can we make that clear? That's not all that's going on. Mars will be entering Aries on December 31st. So we're coming up, but like right now, this last week and a half of December, like people who are struggling can be really, really struggling. And your compassion toward them and their compassion towards you is going to be really important, because it's possible there are people that are going to be making some really bad decisions, okay? And see, the thing that I love about the fact that this card came out is I see you separating yourself from the drama. From the office politics, and again, the gossiping, the rumor mills. I hate that because the Three of Cups can also be like really good friends, and going out and having a good time and being with those people that you like love to death. And it's like the family that you've created for yourself over the years, which, yes, by all means, be with those people. But when it comes out with the King of Cups reversed and it comes out with the Five of Wands, I'm like, there's something or someone that you really need to like stay away from as much as possible. You need to do hermit mode thing. Do the hermit mode thing. You need to put your own spiritual well-being first. You need to create that place of peace, because that's where you're headed, right? The place of peace. I want to see you. We all want to see Cancer leaving the turbulence of their life and moving toward greener pastures, moving toward the peaceful horizon back there, right? I mean, the water is still, it's like glass, the glassy waters. Okay. What else? Whew. That was a lot. And it's going to be. Okay, Cancer, what else? See, this I think is more you. Even though this is a Cups quality and you're all water or whatever, I don't know. I see you being here. I see you kind of being in the driver's seat, being that leader. You are a leader. I said this with Gemini, but This is just kind of temporary for Gemini, but in general for you, this is always true. Kind of the dark horse leaders, and I talk about it all the time. Like Cancer is always that sign that you really don't expect to surpass you so quickly. You don't expect them to be so like higher than the high, like they're the board members of the major corporation, right? They're not even the CEO, like they don't work for anyone, everyone else works for them kind of thing. And so I see you kind of tapping into that power and leadership element of yourself. I see you tapping into the inner source of where that power really comes from. And detachment is important. And King of Swords, yes, I believe you are needing to be detached this month, because there's just so much going on, and being so incredibly intuitive and having your ruling planet be the moon. I think in general, the eclipses always impact you and Leo, because of the sun moon connection. It always impacts you, especially, hard. Does that make sense? It impacts you in a profound way. But now, especially because it's in your sign and in your opposite sign. So detachment is key, and it's going to benefit you, and it's going to benefit everyone around you. Using the power of logic and the power of intelligence to the benefit of everyone involved. I don't see anyone clinging to you, right? If anything, there could be maybe a little bit of separation going on, you taking on the more mature role, hopefully. If you're cross-watching and you're dealing with a immature Cancer, the roles can be flip-flopped. I'm not, let's not lock this into one way or the other. But ultimately, King of Swords is the maturity factor, okay? And it's really what's needed. And thank God, because we can all just be so, it's so cathartic. What else for Cancer? Here's your pride, here's your honor, which goes beautifully. See, I think that the King of Swords often has the Nine of Cups quality. They go very well hand in hand, even more so, I think, than a King of Cups upright. I don't know why I see that, because this is someone who absolutely makes no apologies whatsoever. They make no apologies for who they are. They make no apologies for what they're doing and what they know they need to do. And there is an agenda or a mission with a King of Swords that is bigger than himself, right? This is the Aquarian archetype. It's interesting to have the Cancer-Aquarius connection, but Aquarius, in a way, all the preceding signs, right? Aries through Capricorn, there is this draw to the Aquarian archetype. And I might do a video about that. The draw to the Aquarian archetype and why we are all so drawn to that energy, even within ourselves. Because it's that innate knowing that we belong to such a bigger picture. And it's not just about us, it's really about the whole. And so here you are taking that on, and in a way, there's a little bit of self-sacrifice. You guys know that Scorpio and Aquarius are kind of associated with karma, right? The karmic signs in Vedic astrology, they're kind of sub-ruled, so to speak, by the North and South nodes. And we have the Aquarius archetype ruled by the North node, or Rahu, okay? And Rahu is kind of that destination point. It's really where we're all needing to go before we enter into Pisces, which is all about the universal oneness. But this is like the world working together as a big community, which is why the age of Aquarius is so important. So when we as individuals take on the King of Swords quality, it's like you've already kind of managed all the emotional stuff. You're kind of on top of all of that. You're kind of on track with all that. Like, you get it. You understand how to manage your emotions. You understand how to detach yourself from your emotions in a healthy way, in a way where you're still accessible to people, but also when you're operating in that perfect, compassionate place. Compassion does not mean self-sacrifice at all. It means caring and understanding, but with the ability to not become engrossed or involved in another person's drowning. Compassion does not mean you have to go here with this person. See, definitely not seeing this as you, Cancer. Not now. Not with all these extra cards coming out. Like, no, like you're past that already. You've already made it through. You've made it through the Scorpio archetype, and now you're sitting at the Aquarius archetype. Within your own, I know you're still Cancer, but you guys know what I mean. You're cycling through. And these eclipses are going to bring you closer to this. Bring you closer to this type of power within yourself. True caring. I mean, this is nothing but caring. There is that element of self-sacrifice, giving yourself up for the greater good of the whole. But you have to get to a place of really knowing like why that's even important for you. And there's an element of sharing knowledge here too. I often see this person as a person that other people would pilgrimage to go see. You know, they would get on the mountains and climb up to the top of the mountains to go see this person. Kind of like the hermit a little bit. Do I make sense? I feel like I'm babbling a lot. See, Queen of Cups coming out. This is the part of you. This is a card of Cancer. So here, this is you. Okay, this is you. Both of these. You have the heart of the Queen of Cups, which is hyper feminine, and the mind of the King of Swords, which is hyper masculine. Swords being air, Aquarius being a masculine polarity, right? Masculine, cups and water, with the Queen, feminine. So she's the compassionate side. And see, the Holy Grail, I always look at that with her. You know, she's the only one of, you know, see, the King of Cups is holding a cup that looks exactly like these other cups. And with the King of Swords, he holds the swords that look exactly like all the other swords. But the Queen of Cups holds a cup that is different from all the other cups. There's something special about the key that she's got. And she's using her key, right, which is her knowledge of self and her knowledge of her spirituality. Sorry, I had a hair tickling my arm. The knowledge of her essence, if you will, to be the caregiver and the compassion, the deliverer of compassion. But again, not getting engrossed in anyone else's nonsense at all. There's that King of Swords barrier, and I'll put the camera down so you can see kind of how it's lining up here. So we got Strength, we got the Page of Pentacles, and we got the Judgment card. Of course, your strength will be tested. Of course, everybody's is. Your ability to tap into the higher self is going to be really necessary. Your ability to see your ego, to see the situation in a more realistic fashion. Now, I had this conversation with Gemini. I'm going to have it with you as well. I use the word realism a lot. And on one side of it, realism is your best friend. And on the other side of it, it's your worst enemy. Realism is amazing when you are looking at a situation that is in front of you right now. What is this person saying? What is actually happening? How harmed am I truly? You know, am I fine, or is my ego just dented? You know, and really looking things for what is without any emotional investment in what's going on. That's what really successful people do, right? They take things at face value from a realistic standpoint. If you're not physically in danger, if you're not physically anything, then it's all stuff within your control, within your thoughts and your ego and your emotions and all of that. And then realism is your worst enemy when we're talking about your dreams and manifestation and your future and where you want to go and living into your potential, because realism can really just be fear in disguise. Like, you're rationalizing all the reasons why your fear is okay. That's you being realistic, kind of thing. So I'm speaking to it more in that positive sense when I say realistic. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. And this card is very realistic. Your strength and your courage and your willpower and your compassion will be tested this month, because this is really a test. I mean, this is dramatic. And I see you really wanting to move away. I see you not wanting to participate. But these cards have gravity, and there may even be a projection of guilt. Like, how dare you not want to help me? Don't you love me? Maybe. And that's a problem, and that needs to be addressed as well. And, boundaries need to be set and all that kind of stuff. So, we'll clarify this in the comprehensive for sure. Judgment card was a card that came out. After this, we'll pull 2 more. This is one of clarity. It's one of an awakening. It's one of understanding. It's one of seeing things, clearly, and being able to really connect the dots and understand why this had to happen before this and before this and before this, and why this person was really doing something, or why they really said that, and why they were trying to pull you in. I mean, all of it's going to come to light. I think your test right now, I forgot, we got the page of coins too. I'll talk about that in a second. The thing, your test now is, are you able to see past what they're doing and what they're saying and see all the reasons why they're doing that? I once saw a long time ago someone, I don't even remember who it was. Like, I don't even think I was really friends with this person. I don't think I'd ever met them before, but they had posted on Facebook, and he said, the more and more I learn about psychology, the less and less angry I can get at people. Because all you can do is just see past their anger and see all the reasons why and all the undealt with issues that are still like in their programming, right? And they're getting upset and their egos like all over the place simply because they're unexamined. And I think that that's kind of where your mind is at. Like, you can just see, like, it's so obvious, so transparent, like the pain that they're dealing with. Like, they try to hide it, but it's written all over their face. Like, this is one of the most transparent cards in the tarot. Like, they think that they're all hidden and secretive and deep and intense, and they think that they're all this way, but it's like written all over their face. Everyone knows when they're in pain. Everyone knows when they're angry, and everyone knows that they've got problems, so it's kind of silly. So let's look at so we got the 10 of Wands, Queen of Pentacles, but let's look at the Page of Coins first. Page of Coins is often a card of an offering. That's what I always say. And it is a genuine, it is something real, but sometimes people do try to distract us with shiny objects. Like, I don't know that this coin can really compensate for the stress that this person may put you through. It's kind of like a fight, an argument, and then they come to you the next day and they're like, hey, I bought some concert tickets. Do you want to go? And it's like their kind of silly, immature way of apologizing without actually really apologizing, and they just want everything to be okay. I hate that. It's so frustrating to me. It's going to be up to you to determine whether or not you actually want to accept that, or not, Some of you will, some of you won't. But I wouldn't allow that kind of behavior to go on for that much longer, because it's just someone that just can't deal. And you being so incredibly mature at this particular point in time, like, you need someone who can deal, who can like have that conversation head on, talk about their emotions, talk about their feelings, and not be afraid of like being a human being, especially if you're dealing with a man. Like, if you're a man or woman, whatever your sexual orientation, irrelevant. But if you're dealing with a man, and it's like our culture really celebrates emotional unavailability. I don't know why that is. It's caused a lot of problems in society, but I believe they think they're just doing what a man would do. It's a lot to bear. Okay, and here's your Capricorn counterpart, right? We're getting the Capricorn Cancer axis coming out. So, that's also you. It is your kind of ability to progress and to continue to plant seeds and continue to grow. I do believe that the eclipse, the opportunities that the eclipse bring is going to be an opportunity for you to really lighten your load here, to really reduce the weight on your shoulders and to get rid of things that you feel obliged to do. That feeling of obligation is really unfortunate. And unfortunately, we find ourselves there often throughout the course of life, find ourselves like, we got to do something, someone really depends on us, and yada, yada, yada. And you may feel like you're in a hurry to really get out of that. The eclipses will provide that opportunity, so don't stress. Again, we'll probably have more information about that in the February readings, because I'll probably be publishing them around this same time, right around the time of the eclipses. So we'll get more detail about that. So don't worry, this 10 of Wands is going to be short-lived. Let's put the camera down and let's pull the cards. Well, sorry. I can do that. Sorry, guys. Not trying to make you sick, I promise. Okay. The little webcam thing that I use is it's not really the best. Ugh. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see the actual orientation there. There you go. Okay, so here's how it all lays out. So remember how I told you about the separation? Here's the separation between the two. You know, like this is what's so needed. Otherwise, this one, like if this wasn't here, this one would just like, be so sucked into that because of, again, the gravity of that. It's like the black hole energy. So let's look at the King of Cups first. You know, they are feeling inadequate, you know. Yeah, they're certainly in a much deeper place than interesting. I thought you'd probably be the one who's in a deeper place. Maybe you are to some extent, but you're much more in control of it than they are, because they just don't know. They just don't realize. And they're struggling with their worth. They're struggling with their identity, you know. You have to be aware of your resources. And again, we'll talk more about that Nine of Cups, or Nine of Coins, but you have to be aware of your resources. And you have to be aware of the fact that people want what they don't have. And this is when you start getting into the energy vampire kind of thing, where they will steal the goodness from people to feed their darkness. And that's, yeah. Susceptible to some lying, susceptible, again, avoid the rumor mills at all costs. Certainly not your friend in any way, shape, or form. Let's look at the Queen of Cups. Beautiful. I'm not going to pull any more for that. Hold on, got my hair. I just washed my hair, so shouldn't have too many coming out, but King of Swords. Your resources are out of control. That's what's needing to be protected. Yeah, some of you may have some money things. Let's look at the Page of Pentacles. A couple more. Wow. Amazing. You're aligning. You're getting more tight with your purpose. You're starting to feel a lot of forward motion, I'm sure, and finally feeling like, yeah, this is really what I'm supposed to do, and everything kind of seems to be coming together. A lot of collaboration, a lot of communication with a lot of people. Let's look at 10 of Wands, 4 of Cups, 3 of Swords, Ace of Coins. We're getting a lot of aces. Didn't we get the Ace of Wands too? Am I crazy? There it is. Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Coins. All the best aces anyway. Let's look at the Judgment card really quick. Justice. Okay. So there you go. I'm not going to put the camera back up, but I really, really do hope that you have an amazing month. Amazing holidays, amazing full moon, amazing Mars into Aries transit. feeling the energy, feeling things moving forward. A lot of 10th house activity as well, which I didn't even really talk about. So maybe we'll cover a little bit of that in the comprehensive. But I'm going to leave you guys there. Thank you again. Love you guys. Stay bright. Bye.